Welcome to a new episode. Today we have a special guest, Behrang.
Hello, and
So-
thanks for having me.
Of course. So tell me about yourself, Behrang. What's your major? What year are you in? Hobbies, things of that nature.
Sure. So my name is Behrang, as you mentioned. I'm a fifth year student, PhD, and I'm a new immigrant from Iran. And I'm a mechanical engineer. Talking about hobbies, I'm a very extroverted person. So I checked a lot of clubs at UofT. The one that I'm actively member is the scuba diving club. I recommend
diving.
checking that if you
Wow.
know this exists. Yeah.
How does scuba diving fully work? Like you just go underwater with the
Yeah, literally like that. So we have classes in downtown athletic center.
yeah
10 weeks. You go under the water at pool.
yeah.
That's the class, and the exam is some open water. Usually go through a shipwreck and come back, and you pass. Then
Okay.
become a certified member of the club.
Okay,
Feel free
so
to
you guys
join.
are really diving in there, right?
Yes.
Wow,
We are.
that is cool.
Yeah, that's my newest hobby, and I would say UofT has like too many things to discover. I
Yeah.
found this one very randomly.
It's cool though. Yeah, I want to try that scuba diving. I've never looked into it. So, how did your so you said PhD, right? How did your PhD and like academic interest and lead towards entrepreneurship?
Sure, several things. First of all, as I said, I'm extroverted and I love teaching and TAing. That's actually my fun part of the PhD. But during my PhD, lots of things happened. Well, 5 years, almost 5 years. COVID happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of things we found a tiny bug in the education system that we thought we can address, especially during COVID. And I had a bunch of good co-founders and motivated people and a supporting supervisor.
Mhm.
And I wanted to work in it as, more of sales than, I don't know if you're familiar with engineering's job, but they're basically designated for introverted people who sat behind the computers and focus.
Yeah.
I don't have that ability as much,
Mhm.
but like working in technical sales in a startup provided opportunity for me. And I was, why not? Yeah.
So you like dealing with people. Right?
Yeah, I love to see people.
I see. Yeah. So that's for entrepreneur, that's like the perfect combo. I know there's some entrepreneurs out there that are like introverted, but I think being extroverted, it gives you that edge for sure because it's all about
For the
people.
sales. For technical part, no.
Oh, yeah,
It's actually, you're doomed.
Yeah. So tell me about the company you're starting, LABonWeb. So how did this idea come to fruition?
Sure. So LABonWeb brings the labs on web. So virtual labs is the core idea. And well, I'm sure you know a lot of like education platforms. There's like augmented reality labs. There's like
Yeah.
learning management platforms such as Keras,
Yeah.
Piazza, Blackboard, etc.
Yeah.
A lot of beautiful animations, play around things. But LABonWeb does something else. My PhD is in simulation, and simulation is distinctly different from animation.
Mhm.
Simulation is a technical word that you set up something, some
Yeah.
phenomena, some lab, and simulate it in a virtual atmosphere computer. And professional simulation takes hours, even days, depending on how detailed you want to do. And you need a lot of resources, such as skilled people. Like I wouldn't say I'm professional in simulation even after 5 years of PhD and 2 years of master's yet.
Mhm.
But we decided to cut that and provide it for everyone very easily. So
Mhm.
you have the simulation, and it is different from animation in the sense that you can change anything you want
Mhm.
and hit run and let the computer predict what you want to see. Now, by anything, I mean that it could be a very simple chemical reaction to a very complex hot airflow, which is turbulent in a jet engine or on an airplane wing. We
Yeah.
simulate that on LABonWeb.
Mhm.
And for setting up the user, the student who doesn't have all those technical knowledge,
Yeah.
basically use a chat box to set whatever they want to simulate and hit run and take the output.
Oh, interesting.
That's what LABonWeb does.
I see.
Right.
You're saying simulations is that what Gizmos does at all or no? Because
That's
Gizmos
more
is
of
one of
an
the competitors, right?
Animation.
So
Yes.
that's animation. That's where you differentiate
Yes.
yourself.
You cannot change anything. You have a beautiful platform.
Yeah.
You have the freedom to change a few things, maybe up
Mhm.
to 10, but that's it, right? And behind the scene, there's an animation engine running, right?
Mhm.
It's not like a complex, I don't know, conservative of mass or energy or these things that you learn during physics or STEM courses.
Hmm.
Well, we do those in the back end, behind the scenes, and all the complex math, but you don't get to see it. You just set them up in a way you want, and the
Yeah.
computer takes all the process after that.
Okay. So what are you? How is it able to predict and things like that? Is it AI being used, or what technologies are in
So the
place?
simulation technology is just classic. Basically, let's say you want to simulate, I don't know, the airflow in this room.
Yeah.
You take the space of in this room, you divide it into a million cells, mesh cells, and
Yeah.
for every cell, you solve all those equations. Conservativeness of mass, momentum, energy, and after all those solutions, you may not reach the final answer, so you iterate a few times, a few hundred times, and that will give you the simulation. A lot of math in behind the scene. That's the tech,
Hmm.
which does exist to a good extent. There are like a lot of companies that work in industrial scale, but we are not those. We work on simpler ones that are easy to set up for mainly education.
Mm, I see. I see. So that's your competitive advantage, I guess. Like,
Yes.
is there any other competitor that's doing this at the
No,
moment?
not at the
No.
moment, not to my knowledge.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. So,
Hmm.
why do you believe that online simulations are the future compared to like the in-person ones that we have right now?
So, to be honest, I don't exactly believe in that. So, we had another startup a few years ago. I was just like, a small part of it called Examify, and we ran it at UofT. We're having the exams online,
Hmm.
mainly for like programming courses and stuff.
Hmm.
And it is totally dead right now, doesn't exist anymore because of ChatGPT.
Hmm.
All the programming courses are now pen and paper classic
Yeah.
because it's not possible to let the students go on a
Yeah.
computer with the internet, which was the whole source of that. Yes, we don't know about the future,
Hmm.
but we know one thing for sure. The technology evolution is way faster than the human evolution can catch up with,
Mm.
right? So we are helping the learning process to speed up to some extent that it can match to the pace of technology, especially in the modern world.
Interesting. So, do you plan on uh like using other technology like VR and AR into the simulations? Is that like something you're looking into?
Not for us. Honestly, we are more focused on sales. We need to sell more what we have. We are
Mhm.
only like selling to Ontario at this moment, and that's most of our time.
Mhm.
Yes, in tech, you have to come up with a big update every year
Mhm.
at most. Otherwise, you cannot catch up with the market. Development is a big thing, but like even like our level of developments are too big that we cannot even think about that much of a big advancement, like augmented reality or stuff.
Mhm. I see. I see. So, even like 5 years down the road, like, do you see that happening or no?
Honestly, no. Like I don't know what ChatGPT will be in 5 years, right?
Mhm.
I have to consider that. And
Yeah.
according to that, I have to update my business plan and developing team.
Oh, I see. I see. So you're working parallelly in a
Yes. We
sense.
observe, then we decide what to do.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, how'd you let's talk about your entre so you're balancing right now entrepreneurship and academia, right? Like you're doing a PhD. How do you go about like managing your time? Because PhD is very, very time consuming, I'm guessing. And
Yes.
entrepreneurship's all that don't even get me started,
Yes.
right? So how do you balance all of that?
To be honest, I don't think if I'm doing a good job balancing those. I am behind. I'm already overdue. Normal PhD is 4 years. I'm in my fifth year. Uh, and like, if you ask people in my age, I'm 35. They have like a secure job, good benefits, family, children. I
Yeah.
don't have most of those.
Hmm.
I'm working on that. So it is the price I had to pay for this startup. I kind of gambled to it because like I don't know if it will be successful in 5 years or not. Right?
Yeah.
It was tricky, but it was a choice I made.
Hmm.
And well, future will say if it was a right choice or not.
Okay.
Uh,
That's it. So like what's the so you said like no you said no like relationship like are you like in a relationship
I
and
am.
stuff?
I'm married.
Oh, you're married.
Yeah,
You're married.
my wedding was about a year ago.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, in terms of like you balancing your marriage and stuff like that, how does
Yeah.
your significant other deal with you, being always busy and things
Are
like
you
that?
asking if my wife is angry? Yes, she is.
Yes.
She is. She hopes that I can finish my PhD soon. Me
Yeah.
too. I'm focusing on that, but it comes with the cost of like the company. The time and resources are limited, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping my co-founders that can help me this part.
Mhm.
But like time balancing isn't like it's a never-ending issue.
Mhm. Yeah. So after you're done your PhD, you're gonna go all out in the startup.
Yes,
Interesting.
yes.
That's nice. So are you gonna go for funding rounds and things like that?
We did raise some funds, especially till like last year. Ontario or like Canada was a very good place for entrepreneurs and startups.
Mm-hmm.
We did raise some funds. We have some interns. We got some loan, very good startup loans, and a bunch of other resources. We can survive for 2 years from now. As a matter of fact, we have like one full-time student right now
Oh wow.
and five interns at the moment
5
from different
interns.
points in Canada right now. And yeah, we are able to manage them and pay them,
That's
but we
good.
don't take any money for ourselves.
Oh,
So
I
we
see. I
are like,
see.
working somewhere else part time to
Mhm.
make sure we can continue.
So you work part time or?
So I'm a PhD student.
Yeah.
In Canada, you get paid to do that.
Oh,
Plus
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
TAing beside that,
Oh, yeah.
which is an additional source of money.
I see. I see. Interesting. So, in terms of your funds and stuff, where'd you get that from exactly? Like,
So there are several funds. If you're interested, there's like the governmental parts, such as
Mhm.
IRAP, MyTax, etc.
Yeah.
We got something called from Futurepreneur
future.
and from UofT Hatchery and other places that provide us funds.
Okay.
Could be not financial and non-financial funds. For example, they pay for our servers, for our interns.
Yeah.
There's like different methods that they can support us.
Mhm.
And there's like private sector, which are like incubators or angel investors. Usually the people who had a startup, so very successful, and want to like reinvest their capital on another startup.
Mhm.
We are working on those like every day. Like it's actually funny because it's a big question. As I told you, like our time and resources are limited, right?
Mhm.
You need to make your mind if you want to spend that time on raising funds
Yeah.
or on development and sales. It's a
Mhm.
big question. Both are necessary, but you cannot have them both, especially if you're only co-founders like us.
I see. I see. Have you looked into like Sequoia Capital and things like that?
Not that one,
Yeah.
but we've worked with UofT Hatchery, Futurepreneur,
Yeah.
Venture Lab,
Like, I'm talking about like
Mars.
the LA ones, like the Silicon
Oh,
Valley ones. That's why I said Sequoia Capital.
hopefully in the future.
In the
like,
future?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one of our podcasts before. His name's Adam. You can go check that video out. He was trying to land a deal with Sequoia Capital, so probably pop up here. But so what's motivating you to like do this? Like, why did you choose to go out on this journey and build LABonWeb? For
Um,
like the idea, like did you see like a problem with the current education system, or was it like you just found your research to be linked with this?
So during our TAing, well, our co-founders, like there's profs, TAs, instructors, and then other people. We did find some sort of like not I don't want to say bug, but like a gap in the education system,
Mm-hmm.
especially in STEM education, science, tech, engineering, and math. You learn a lot of equations, and you need to connect them to the real world cases, right? Especially in engineering. But like it takes some time for a student's mind to connect these two, like pure abstract math, real world engineering cases.
Mm-hmm.
Many people try to address that. It's like people are aware of that, but like it was never by simulation. Let's say again, we can go back to the same example of the heating this room. You have your vents up there. Okay, we want to make sure everywhere is warm.
Yeah.
And if you see the flows and the heat, and you can set it up in a way you want, and you can play around, you can visualize, and that actually helps a student a lot. We have grown to learn that it is actually working. From our feedbacks from UofT students, we have updated
That's good.
our system.
Interesting. So, so you saw the gap and you felt like you wanted to implement it. Like, what is your drive? Like, is it more about making like an impact, achieving recognition, money? Like, what's the main motivating factor, you'd say?
I see. You know, that is more of a philosophical question.
Yeah.
I usually like tend to tell this sentence to my student. Let's say you love something and you know you love it.
Yeah.
It could be your major, it could be money, it could be, I don't know, an activity or loving being a pilot or a person
Yeah.
or a child. You know, I believe whatever you love, and let's say you spend a lot of time on that, uh, only 5 to 20% of that time is actually you enjoying. The
Mm,
rest is you working, or in
yeah.
extreme case, suffering to
Yeah.
get to that 5 to 10%, right? Let's say you love, I don't know what you study, like
Computer science.
computer science. You certainly have a passion for that.
Yeah.
And that passion appears in a few courses. But most
Yeah.
of the courses you have to pass
Yeah.
are not the ones you actually love,
That's true.
right?
Very true.
Or if you love someone, a partner, like you have to deal with a lot of like learning about this person's character and stuff
Yeah.
to get to the good part.
Yeah.
I guess if everyone knows that the nature of love, which builds the human motivations, they can follow what they want. Like for myself, I love to do something big. And I believe once you do something big, your love thrust, your love motivation requires either something equal or bigger after that. And I'm at the point that I decided, hey, I love this, and I'm ready to suffer and gamble my life on
Wow.
what it comes from.
That is,
Yeah.
I love the way you put that.
Thank you.
Very inspiring. So, I want to talk about your LABonWeb's business model. So, what's the so I read on the website you guys charge $66.
It is a subscription
Yeah,
based.
per academic semester. Right?
Yes, exactly. We have two different modes. One is for academia and then the classes. Yeah, it is SaaS, software as a service, and we
Yeah.
charge per student, per semester, per course. Now, depending on the number of students, that price can change. Yeah.
Okay. And who are you exactly targeting? Like high schoolers, elementary, or is it everyone? Like which specific one? What's your target?
So we were
demographic?
targeting like the whole education system for high
Mhm.
schoolers because of the nature of the physics and the simulations that is easy. There's
Yeah.
tons of free softwares. We haven't been able to enter. We have been selling only to undergrad courses, colleges, universities, and a few grad courses.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so more upper year compared to like
Yes.
younger. Oh, I see. I
Right.
see. Interesting. And have you guys been able to? Have you guys been able to make sales?
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, UofT is one example.
Yeah.
Humber College, McMaster,
Okay.
a few other places all around here.
Okay.
And we offered it in 3 different modes. Sometimes the prof or instructor use it to teach. Hey, I'm changing it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes they use it as an assignment. We are selling the tool, the simulation tool, right? You're selling the platform. They can use it to design an assignment. For example, for a course named Heat and Mass Transfer, students were supposed to design some sort of cooling system for a Tesla battery, imaginary, not a real
Yeah.
one. So they had to come up with a design that cools down in different velocities and would test it. And lastly is a project-based. And that's like, hey, we need this project. You have this simulation tool. Before building your prototype, go and simulate it. You have
Mm.
this system. You can set up any simulation. Design a shape of, I don't know, a propeller or a boat and use it.
Interesting. The Tesla battery one, that's cool. So they can literally, so if they want to design it, they can create it inside LABonWeb.
Well, yeah, they create a rectangle, they set a temperature, then
Yeah.
they set some sort of airflow underneath it, and they design with fins that can cool it down and see the airflow.
So all that's implemented. That's
Yes, and they
cool.
can modify anything to that, right?
Wow. Okay. So, is there any other areas that you would like to explore with it? So, like right now, you're targeting schools. Do you feel like you're going to expand to different industries, different sectors?
I would love to. So I was sponsoring a few conferences, and I
Mhm.
noticed that researchers, especially the experimentalists, are into that. So we opened a new individual subscription base
Mm-hmm.
that like the experimentalist who does not have the same simulation background but wants to know before setting up usually an expensive experiment. They want to have an idea. Say they subscribe this platform, simulate a few things for a few days,
Hmm.
then they design the experiment based on that. And we actually found a lot of people into that.
Interesting. So you're selling to the experimentalists.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they have a lot of budgeting for? Yeah, they do for sure.
They do, but like in academia, the whole like education market, we will
Yeah.
call it as like difficult customers.
Hmm.
It's a small community. You have to convince a lot of people to get to money,
Yeah.
right? And budgeted are like closely monitored. So
Oh, I
we
see,
are
I see.
working on it.
You're working on it.
Yeah.
That's good. So what's who's? I want to get into your like a little bit of a reflection on your journey. So like, who's been your biggest like influence in your journey? Like, who shaped the path of LABonWeb for you? Like, do you have a mentor? Do you have someone that you know that you
Good
look up to?
question. So I was the last co-founder joining the team.
Okay.
It started during COVID. 3 people started it. A few months later, I was using it for a course that they use as a beta course for free back then. I happened to be the one running that course as the head TA.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is good. And I would like to join. And they were quite open about it. Now, as I told you, I did have other startups back in the day, none of them successful. They're actually dead right now. So I did have experience, but I was also scared of, there's a gap after graduation that you don't know what to do with your life.
Yeah.
And it happened after my undergrad and master's.
Hmm.
Maybe one reason I'm doing a PhD because like I wanted to avoid that.
Hmm.
I hope this decision helps me to avoid the next time that gap appears in my life. I have a plan for after my graduation.
Oh, okay. So that gap, like, what did you do? Like, you were just
You need to find a job, right?
yeah.
And you as a student, you're gonna look for jobs, or like
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you have one, you want to excel it. Like, you don't know where this job will be. You don't know how much money you get. You don't know how desperate you will be before accepting the offer that's in front
Yeah.
of you, right?
Yeah.
That is scary, especially if like me, you're an immigrant
Yeah.
and in a country far from home.
Yeah. No, I meant personally, like, what did you do in that gap? Like-
Yeah. Okay. So after my undergrad, I worked a few months, and I
Mhm.
decided I want to start my master's. And after my master's, I worked for a few years actually, back in Iran. But it wasn't what I wanted.
Mhm.
And one easy option for me was to apply and come here and pursue my studies.
Oh, I see, I
Right.
see.
And to be honest, so I know many students complain, oh, UofT student life is hard. I don't have a life. I have exams and stuff.
Yeah.
But believe me, life gets way worse than that when you start a job, especially if you're in tech or
Yeah.
if you have other responsibilities such as family or, I don't know, being under a loan or mortgage and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah. Well, do you have any advice for the students when they get into that stage of life?
Well, first of all, I would advise them to enjoy the student life. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I know it might look a little bit terrifying,
Yeah.
but for me, it was the best years of my whole life. All right. And for that gap, it's a market, right? The job market is a market. There is supply and demand. The only way to be successful in the market is to know the market, know what you supply, and get to know what the demand is in the market,
Hmm.
which is a big deal, especially if you're only in the university.
Interesting. And I want to know. So, if you can go back in time, and the younger Behrang, and you could like give him a couple words of advice, what would you tell him?
Yeah, so I would tell myself to get to know 2 things. First, the market.
Mhm.
I was blind when I entered this market. It took me a lot of iterations to learn what I should not to do and what I should do.
Like the job market.
Yeah, right? You
Yeah.
want in the end, like if you're working in sales, in the end of the day, you need to convince a person or two,
Yeah.
right? So it's not something that you learn in the university. Even if you're like in a business, I don't know, school or something, this is something that you need to experience,
Hmm.
learn at work. And the second thing is how to learn with the people in your field. So I'm working with tech people,
Yeah.
which I would say, like my market, they have their own characteristic, and I wasn't aware of that. I learned a lot about that. I know it now, but it took me, I would say, a long, bumpy road of like time to get to know that.
Mm. So that's what you would tell them: understand the market and
And the people you're gonna
the
work with.
people you're gonna work with. Interesting. And if you would you approach LABonWeb a little differently or no?
Uh,
Like if you were to go back in time.
so to answer to that, I need to know if I'm doing currently right now with LABonWeb or not. I don't know. I'm still like developing that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
LABonWeb is changing every few months. The platform is totally different now than what it used to be in August, for example. Huh?
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. What I meant was, there's problems that came with LABonWeb, right? When you were developing, so like things that you would have done differently to avoid those problems, in a sense.
I see your question. But again, I I don't know. I came up with this new platform now. I'm so scared that it doesn't work. Even we lose our old customers.
Mhm.
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
It depends on their taste and if it works well. We
Mhm.
might we might need to go back and change it all over again.
Okay.
So if I knew the answer, well, I don't know if I'm doing good or not. So, right?
I see. I
Yeah.
see. I mean, you've already like it looks pretty good right now. Like I've
Thank you.
seen the product, so like you've clearly built something, right? That's great.
That's what
Yeah.
I hope that I can get feedbacks like that from
Yeah.
students. What is good and what is bad. I can easily fix them. I just don't
Mhm.
know what to fix yet.
I see. I see.
I'm still learning.
So you were just saying like the stress. So there's a lot of uncertainty with like LABonWeb. How do you deal with the stress that comes with it? Is there anything specifically that you do?
I think I'm used to it by now. It was very stressful in the beginning, especially there were times that we had like about like 10 interns.
10
right?
interns.
We had to teach them what to do and ask them in a proper way what we want.
Mhm.
And it was taking a lot of time from me. But like I learned that from experience. That's less stressful now. But I don't know if I could find a shortcut for that. I just got used to that stress.
Just got used to it.
Just got used to that.
Yeah. And for interns, what do you look for in an intern?
Yes, we are actively looking for interns, even at
Yeah.
UofT. Yeah.
What do you look for in an intern?
So anything non-technical. We have enough technical people. We're looking for sales, law, I don't know, students from humanities and stuff. Whoever can help us, like art side.
Mhm.
We get a lot of students from there. Some things that we don't have ourselves, right?
Oh, I see. I see. Interesting. For law, what do you need for?
Oh, digital law is very complex,
Mhm.
right? You cannot just simply sell a product. You need to make sure what you're selling and like terms and conditions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like we have a platform, but we cannot integrate it with Kerakis merely because like the data on Kerakis is confidential. Even though we
Oh, I
can do
see.
it technically,
Yeah.
there's like legal barriers to that.
I
Yeah,
see.
and that's just one example.
Okay, I see. And we'll end it off with the last question. So, where do you see LABonWeb in 5 years?
I would hope like it has grown up to a new different phase, offering a lot of new things. The SaaS market, software market, like they say it's a short market. Most of the SaaS startups, like they stay around only for 3 to 5 years and they disappear
Mm.
or they become something else.
Mhm.
And that's a successful SaaS. I hope it could be like that. So big developments every year, come up with new ideas, catching up with the market,
Mhm.
answering more demands. Hopefully, yeah.
That's amazing. So, if you want to reach out to Behrang, if you're looking for an internship or you're looking to maybe invest in the company, where can they reach you out?
Sure. If they're a UofT student, you can just go to the Outlook and type my name. It will pop up in your directory. You can email me, or you can find us through our platform LABonWeb. There are different ways that you can do internship for us. All of them are paid, and we're happy to discuss it with you guys. Just get in touch with us.
All right, awesome. It was a pleasure having you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much, Amar.
Of course. All right. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, like button, and leave your suggestions in the comment below. We just got started, so it'd be amazing if we can, listen to your feedback. And take care, guys.